You see the screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to reiterate a little bit what you saw in the video just to kind of make sure that I'm communicating to you what I know to be, the situation. I have found sometimes that when I communicate something and I didn't do it right and somebody didn't do what I was talking about, so I want to make sure that I'm doing that right. And so to begin with, the mission ultimately is that you'll have people like lawyers, doctors, speakers, etc., wanting you to put them in an Amazon.com Kindle book where they are a contributing author along with other contributing authors. And we're calling them either a contributing author or a contributor. They're all synonymous. And they will pay you for the privilege because of the enormous value it has for them, and you will make 500. This says 400, but you are at 500.
Hmm.
And again, I want you to know that you do not have to sell this. I'm going to show you how to make them want it. So here's what we're going to start off with. This is an example of a book with real estate professionals. And so you're just calling them up and asking them to put a tip in the book, and this is what the book would look like more or less. So let's say we're going to go with plastic surgeons as you and I talked about. So here's the conversation. You call the office. Hi, this is Jim. I need to speak with Dr. Awesome. They say, what is this about? You're saying I'm publishing a book that will help the doctor's patients with fat reduction, and it may not be fat reduction, it may be rhinoplasty or something. So whatever it is that you're talking to them about. And I was counting on Dr. Awesome for a quick interview as a local subject matter expert. And it's things like this that get past the gatekeeper really quickly because you're not trying to sell anything, as you know.
Right.
And you're going to get three answers, yes, no, or maybe. And I just want, now I know you know this, Jim, because you've done telemarketing for a long time. And a no could be 1,000 reasons. They may have done something wrong where they're very uncomfortable having their name out there and just don't want the attention. You just never know. So when you talk to the doctor or the doctor's appointment maker or whoever it is you're talking to, these are the common questions you'll get. And so the first one is, what is this interview for? Even though you've told them, they're still trying to make sense of it. And so the answer is, what we are publishing a series of books featuring tips from industry experts like yourself that educate consumers on the subject matter. Okay. And if you feel like you need to add to that, you can. That's what the etc. part is. And so another common question is, well, why did you pick me? Well, I was searching online and your site had some really good information. And I want to include professionals that have good educational materials and appear to be a true advocate for the customer's success. Oh, okay. How does it work? And that's the next common question. Well, it's really simple and should take just a few minutes. This book is a compilation of the number one tips from experts like yourself. And so you will get full attribution included with your tip in the book, and it's a great way to add to your credibility and expert status. And for those listening to this video who don't know what attribution means, it means they will get credit for what they say. Now, remember, if you get anything but a yes, just leave it and go to the next one. The ones that say yes, they will see the value and they'll be very valuable to you and us down the road. So when talking with the yes or maybe client, you are going to come up with a bio that they wish they had, and here's why. Because you're going to start off by asking, now, Dr. Awesome, have you published any books? And typically your answer is going to be no. Your next one will be, Dr. Awesome, have you ever been featured on any local or national media websites like ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, USA Today? And they'll probably say no. And if they do say no, say, okay, just wanted to check. We can talk about how to do that later. So the reason you're doing that is you're just planting a seed. The reason for this is we want them to be aware of their lack of credibility. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So, and here's the interview question. So at this point, when they say yes, you're going to do the interview, you turn on your software and you record them however you're able to record them. My suggestion is to use, I use Skype when I call people, and then I use a recorder called Eviar. And it's spelled, actually it's just right here. This is what it looks like. And it's Evaer. It works pretty well. I don't know what you're going to use, Jim, but this is what I use. It's pretty slick. Here's your question, and this is all it is. Dr. Awesome, what's your number one tip for someone that is blank? So when you took a quick look at his website, you saw maybe he was a rhinoplasty expert. So, Dr. Awesome, what's your number one tip for someone that is considering rhinoplasty? And that's it. And where the dot is, it depends on who you're talking to. If it's a DUI attorney, you might say, Mr. Attorney, what is your number one tip for someone that is considering a DUI attorney after their third DUI, as an example? So, and that's all you do. So you're recording that. So you are recording the response, and when you get that done, just send it to me. And or actually, if you can send them 10 at a time, 1 at a time, doesn't matter. We'll all keep track of them. And then on my end, what we're doing is transcribing the recordings. We're going to professionally edit and compile them. We're going to create a book cover like the one you see on the right. This is my book cover. This is when I did my own bestseller. And that's my ugly mug there, by the way. And we're going to get it published on Amazon.com. And we need to get, for these single tips on this right here, what's your number one tip? We need to get at least 20. It'd be better to get 30 or 40. And the reason is, not everybody's going to say yes when we come back to them on the bestseller thing. So it's a numbers game, as you know. So the next thing, when we get that published, and this will take, it kind of depends, how they come in, but by the time we get them professionally edited, make the book cover and get it on Amazon, it's not a very long time at all. It'll be very impressive to the people you talk to. And so after that's done, you'll send them this email that I will give you. And I know we've gone over this, but again, I'm going to go over it real quick. And it just says, Dear Dr. Awesome, I wanted to let you know your book that contains your tip is available on Amazon. Thank you for your time. And here's the magic. The by the way email is what I call it. I just messed that up. It says, by the way, if you're interested in getting broader exposure and would like to position yourself as a local expert for your industry, let me know. That's what I do. I have a unique campaign that quickly allows you to be positioned as a local expert by conducting a more depth interview that I will include as a chapter in my upcoming expert interviews book. You would be fully credited as a co-author. I will also be running a publicity campaign that will guarantee the book to hit at least one Amazon.com's bestseller list, making you an Amazon.com best-selling author. That's the biggie right there. Now here's the other. Actually, let me go back here because it says I have two. Okay, this is the sentence. I normally charge $2,500 for this, but I have 2 openings. So right there, 2 openings. There's our scarcity. There's just 2 left in my upcoming book, and I would be happy to give you a reduced rate since you participated in the tips book. So they've already participated. There's your reason to give them a reduced rate. And the price point at this point is going to be $1,500 is what you'll tell them. And when they buy, you get $500 of that. And then let me know soon if you're interested so I can get you on the schedule. Now, when you send that email out, the ones that are interested will respond. And there's going to be ones who get what you're doing and they understand the value of it, and they're going to be very interested. And those that don't respond, you'll need to call them because maybe they didn't get their email. It might have went into their spam folder, who knows. But those that are not interested will let you know by email, hopefully. Thank you, but no thank you. Okay, good. And so the next thing after that is when they pay their fee, you're making the money. And here's what we do after that. So you go back to them and you set up another interview with them. This interview is going to be 15 to 20 minutes long is all it is. And it's going to be one problem, one solution format. So let's say we are talking with Dr. Awesome. Let's say he's going to work on, say, fat removal, which I could use at the moment. But so the problem is, what are the risks with fat removal? Why is it risky to be overweight? All that stuff. So that's what you'll tell the doctor. Tell me all the problems with this. With the procedure, and what's the problem with being fat, blah blah blah. So anything that's a problem. And the solution is, okay, what is his solution? So have him describe the solution. And that's all it is. And this is going to be done in a 15 to 20 minute interview at most. Now, when you're done with the interview, you would send that to me, and we will get that transcribed, and we'll do the same process here as we did with the tips book. Except this time, we're going to create a really nice book cover to really grab their attention. So I'll have all the interviews transcribed, and they're going to be professionally edited for perfect readability. This will be done for all contributors for the book. Of course, the book cover, and when the edits are done, we're going to compile them in the book, and then we're going to do a bestseller campaign on Amazon. And we always guarantee the book will achieve a bestseller status in at least one category. And that's precisely what the client wants. Now, the question is, what is a bestseller? Does that mean number one? No. A bestseller means in the top 10. But very often, I get them at number one in some category. I just don't tell them that because it's not always possible. But when they are number one, boy, they really light up.
Right.
And so, very quickly again, we're going to take up to 15 contributors per book. We need at least 5 to do a book. And so here's the math. Contributor pays $1,500 to be a co-author. You make $500. 15 contributors at $500 is $7,500. You keep doing this monthly, of course, that's the math. And frankly, you should be able to do this twice a month, if not more. So that is the training. Do you have any questions?
Not really.
Okay. Do you want me to print these out and email this to you, like these common questions and where's that other part? The conversation you would have, and then also the interview question.
Well, you have them in PowerPoint, right?
Yes.
PowerPoint?
Yeah.
If you have them in PowerPoint, just copy the slides and send them to me.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just do that.
I can go through them, and then I could, get my call flow together and everything else.
Okay.
From that, because you haven't made up already.
Now, the other thing I want to go over, and I know I've done this with you already, Jim, but for the people on the video, let's just go ahead and do it again, and I'll bore you for the moment. Where we're looking is on Google, and of course Jim has the category of plastic surgeons, but let's say we're going to start with New York plastic surgeons. So what you do is you should just put in the city first and then the niche, or you can put the niche and then the city. You'll get pretty much the same results. And anybody and everybody who is on page 1 here is fair game, actually great game, and here's why. These people are paying a lot of money to be on the front page of Google for this term. If you were to click on this ad, I don't know what they're paying, but I'm guessing they're probably paying $20 to $150 a click.
Yeah.
And the highest click I've ever seen was on accident attorneys, and it was $750 a click.
Wow.
So if I was to click on here, they would pay whatever it is they're bidding. So I would ask you and anybody else in this video to copy this and open it in another window so you don't click on their ad. We'll just save them some money. And then go look at their website. And just a quick gander, you can kind of tell what they may be experts in. So there's facial, skin, breast procedures like augmentation and such. And so if you're not sure, just come up with a category. It could be nose reduction or breast augmentation or whatever. And And then when you're done with them, go to the next person, and then the next person, and all these over here, same way. These are ads too. Not all of them are going to go to a doctor. Some of them are go to places who advertise for doctors. And then when you come down here, these are the ones to hit also. But you need to know that some of these people may also have an ad up here, so be sure not to call the same one again. And I would also go to page 2 and do the same thing, because generally people on page 2 are frustrated, but they're still spending the money to get there. And so they understand the value of being on there too. Now here's an interesting one. This is Yelp. Anybody who's not familiar with Yelp, it is a place where consumers can go and rate a business that they've done business with. And so if I was to click here on the Lexington Plastic Surgeons, you can see that they have 2.5 stars, 12 reviews. They're not a very good company according to the reviews they're getting, but they would probably, this would probably be a good one to call, because they only have 2.5 reviews, and they may think to themselves, boy, I could really use some help in getting, my marketing help, so being a best-selling author would certainly help that.
Right.
Okay, and that is it. So if you have any questions, be sure to let me know. I want you to be successful. I want you to make a ton of money, because if you do, I do. And anything I can do to help you win is what I want to do. So be sure to let me know if I can help you.